Hey guys, so fall is almost here, unfortunately. So in another month from in our area, we're gonna probably start seeing some snow. So I'm gonna do something today I've been wanting to do. I got the idea of harvesting some of this pineapple weed. I don't know if you can see that there, but I really like this stuff. It makes a really good tea. So I thought it'd be awesome if I could preserve that over the winter. So during the winter, when I'm really missing this time of year, I could have some pineapple weed tea. So I'm gonna harvest a bunch of the little flowers on this, and I plan on putting that in little Ziploc bags and sticking the small Ziploc bags into a freezer bag and then putting that in the freezer. And I'll see how good that's gonna be over the winter if I just take a handful of those out and I boil that into some tea. So I'm gonna harvest that. I'm gonna harvest a bunch, enough to make, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 different servings throughout the winter. And I already harvested some last week, and I stuck that in my freezer here at my camp. And at the end of this video, I'm gonna actually use some of that frozen pineapple weed to make some tea, and we'll see how good that is. So, unfortunately, most of the time when I harvest pineapple weed, it's here in my driveway at my camp. And as you can see, I'm having all the sod taken out of the driveway here, and I'm going to replace that sod with gravel. That way there in the springtime, when the snow melts, it's not so muddy in here. So that's going to be a nice new driveway going up to my camp there. So unfortunately, I don't have as much pineapple weed, but I'm gonna look around. I think by my garden I usually see some. Yeah, so I kind of forgot about it till I got down here by the garden. Last year I planted my vegetable garden here, and in between the rows there was a lot of pineapple weed growing. This year I alternate my garden with sunflowers or other cover crops. So obviously I planted sunflowers here. Look how nice they turned out though. I can tell you one thing, my honeybees love them. They're really, really nice. So yeah, the sunflowers choked out the pineapple weed. So now I only have one other spot here at my camp where I've seen some, and that's right around my camp. So let's hope there's enough to harvest. If not, I know other places that I can get some. Alright, so I found a couple small patches here. Those are the steps to go in my camp. Right over here. There's a couple here. All over the place here. I should have enough. Alright, let's get picking. Alright, so I just lit my propane stove up, put some water in this little pot here, Now, I have no electricity here at my camp, but I do have solar panels. Got my charge controller here, 2 solar batteries, my inverter, and I got this little refrigerator freezer. This thing's been awesome. So I picked these the other day, right here. About 1 serving of pineapple weed right there. So we're gonna throw that in that pot. We're gonna try that out. They still look pretty decent. I'm anxious to see. Alright, so that water is coming to a boil. So I'm gonna lower the heat a little bit. I'm gonna throw all that pineapple weed in there. Leave that in there for maybe 10 minutes. Stir that around a bit. Alright, so that's been simmering in there for about 15 minutes. I just brought the heat to a boil, and then I brought it down, the heat a little lower, once I put the pineapple weed in there. And like I said, it's been in there for about 15 minutes. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain it in my mug with a little bit of, oops, a little too quick there. I like to use a coffee filter just to strain all that out. And I'll tell you guys what, while this was cooking or boiling or seeping, whatever you want to call it, it smelled so good. It smelled like I just picked those things fresh, the pineapple weed, and boiled it fresh. Alright, so I just strained all that. Look at the nice color, huh? Hey, this smells so good. I wish you guys could smell that. So I'm going to let that cool off a bit. I didn't add any sweetener. Usually I add a little bit of honey, but today I'm just going to drink it just like that. And I'm curious to see if that's going to taste good. If it is good, I'm going to harvest more of the pineapple weed to store it for the winter. Alright, so while the tea is cooling off, I'm going to put this back into the freezer. So this is the frozen stuff, and this is the fresh stuff I picked a while ago. So you can see the color difference. So I'm going to put that back in my Ziploc. And this is freezer safe, so I feel good about that. I just labeled it pineapple weed and the year. I'll stick that back in my freezer. I'll tell you guys what, it's so nice to have this freezer here. It's awesome. There we go. Someday I'll do a video on this solar system I have. It's been working awesome. It's a nice sunny day. I have 400 watts of solar panels. Look at that. That battery's fully charged. Well, my batteries. It's been awesome. Alright guys, so the tea cooled off enough. Now it's just nice and warm. I'm going to give it a shot. I can tell you right now it smells really good. So let's try this out. Oh yeah. That tastes like freshly picked pineapple weed thrown in some boiling water. That's awesome. So I'm gonna pick a bunch more of that pineapple weed. I'm gonna stick that in my freezer, and I'm gonna enjoy that in the dead of winter. Cheers. You guys got to try this out if you haven't already. Oh, that's good.